Welcome back, everyone. This is our final deep dive in this series, and today we're really digging into something crucial for making AI truly work for you.
That's right. We're talking about mastering prompt engineering.
We've hinted at it before, but today it's front and center.
Think of these large language models.
Mm.
They're incredibly smart, right? Almost like genies. But sometimes, they need very specific wishes.
Otherwise, you get something unexpected.
Exactly. So prompt engineering is that art, the skill of crafting the perfect wish, those really detailed instructions to get the AI to give you exactly what you need.
And it's not just a tech thing, is it?
Not at all. I mean, it's becoming fundamental for anyone who wants to leverage AI effectively, whether you're prepping for a big strategy meeting, trying to make your workflow smoother, or honestly, just figuring out what these tools can actually do.
Yeah, because we've talked about AI opportunities, about strategy, about generative AI.
All fascinating stuff.
Definitely. But now we need to bridge that gap. How do we actually talk to these systems to get those tangible results we're after?
Because, let's be honest, even a super intelligent human assistant needs clear directions, right?
Of course.
Well, AI is similar. It needs well-crafted prompts to be genuinely useful. Just firing off, write me a resume. It's probably not going to get you very far.
Right. You'll get something generic, maybe unusable. So how do we level up from those basic requests? How do we get, nuanced?
Okay, so there's a really helpful way to think about this. A framework, actually. It's called Prompt T.
Prompt T. Okay, I like that. Easy to remember. What's it stand for?
So the first P is for persona.
Persona.
Yeah. This is about defining the role you want the AI to adopt. Instead of just, talking to a generic AI, you specify its expertise.
How so? Give me an example.
Well, instead of just asking for resume help, you could say, act as a career consultant specializing in product management resumes.
See?
Ah, okay. So you're giving it a specific hat to wear, a specific knowledge base to draw from.
Precisely. It sets the context right away.
That makes sense. Okay, what's next? R is for request. This is where you clearly state what you actually want it to do.
The core task.
Exactly. But again, specificity matters. Instead of just write a summary, maybe try, help me write a summary for my resume, highlighting my 3 years experience as a product manager.
Much clearer. You're pointing in the right direction.
You are. You're giving it focus. Then comes O for output.
Output, the format.
Exactly. How do you want the information delivered? Instead of just getting a block of text back, you could ask for, say, give me a 3-bullet point summary focusing on my achievements.
Okay, so directing the structure, not just the content. That seems really useful for quickly grabbing the main points.
It is very useful. Next is M for modifier.
Modifier, like adding details.
Yeah, fine-tuning the request, adding those crucial specifics. For instance, you could add, make sure you emphasize my data-driven decision-making and my UX research skills.
Got it. So layering in those keywords or skills that are really important for your situation.
Exactly. You can add several modifiers to really hone the output.
Okay, persona, request, output, modifier. What's the next P?
The second P is provide example. This can be incredibly powerful.
Giving it a model.
Yes. Show what good looks like. You could maybe paste in a really strong job description for the role you want, maybe from Google or somewhere similar,
Yeah.
or even an example of a summary you admire.
Oh, I like that. It gives the AI a concrete target, a benchmark for style and quality.
It does. It's like saying, aim for something like this.
Brilliant. Okay, one letter left. T.
Key is for tone, setting the overall style, the voice.
Like formal or informal.
Exactly. For that resume summary, you'd probably want professional and concise.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely. Not chatty.
No. But for another task, you might want friendly and informative, or maybe analytical and critical. It all depends on the context.
So using Prompty, PROMPT, it's like building a detailed brief for the AI, just like you would for a person.
That's a great way to put it. It ensures clarity, focus, and gets you much closer to the result you actually want.
Okay, let's make this concrete. You mentioned resumes. Let's use that Sarah example, the product manager. How would she use PromptT?
Right. So Sarah, instead of just write my resume summary, she'd get specific.
Walk me through it.
Okay. Persona. Act as a top-tier career consultant specializing in product management resumes, maybe with 10+ years experience placing people in tech.
Nice and specific.
Request. Help me write a compelling 3-sentence summary for my resume. I have 3 years experience as a PM in the sauce industry.
Okay.
Output. Give me the summary in 3 distinct sentences. First sentence, key skills. Second, a big achievement with numbers. Third, career goals.
Very structured.
Modifier. Make sure to emphasize data-driven decisions, agile methods, and my UX understanding.
Hitting those key industry points.
Provide example. She could paste in a job description she's targeting, or maybe a LinkedIn profile summary she likes.
Give it that target.
And finally, tone. Professional, concise, and results-oriented.
Wow. Okay, the difference between that and write me a summary is huge. You can just feel how much better the output is likely to be.
It's night and day, isn't it?
Hmm.
And think beyond the resume. What about interview prep?
Oh, yeah. How would that work?
Sarah could prompt the AI. Act as a hiring manager at, say, Google, interviewing for a PM role. Ask me common behavioral questions about problem solving. Then critique my answers. Tell me what was strong, what needs work.
Whoa, that's like having a personal interview coach on tap 24/7.
Exactly. Practicing getting feedback. It builds so much confidence. That's the power we're talking about.
That's incredible. Okay, so career stuff is one big area. What else? You mentioned data overload earlier.
Yeah.
Something many of us face.
Oh, absolutely. We all drown in spreadsheets sometimes, right?
Tell me about it.
Well, instead of just staring at the numbers, use a prompt. Something like, act as a data analyst specializing in customer behavior. Analyze this spreadsheet you'd attach or paste the data. Give me the top 3 emerging customer trends as bullet points. And for each trend, suggest one actionable recommendation for the marketing team.
Okay, so you go from being buried in raw data to getting actual insights and concrete next steps.
Instantly. Or, well, very quickly. It cuts through the noise. Huge for making smarter decisions faster.
I can see that. And didn't we hear about someone, Amit, who used this for personal branding?
Yes, Amit's story is a great example. He wanted to build his profile as an AI consultant.
So how did prompts help?
He used AI to generate ideas for insightful articles and LinkedIn posts about AI trends. He prompted it to help plan a content strategy, brainstorm thought leadership angles, even prep talking points for presentations.
So using AI as a strategic partner almost.
Exactly. And the result. His online presence grew significantly. He attracted new clients, apparently doubled his consulting revenue, all driven by smart prompting.
That really shows the direct link between mastering the skill and, well, real career growth. It's amplifying expertise.
Absolutely. And it applies everywhere. Think
Yeah.
product development.
Okay.
A startup could prompt.
Yeah.
Act as a fintech innovation expert. Generate 5 novel AI-powered banking solutions targeting millennials. Maybe it suggests an AI budgeting assistant or something with blockchain micropayments. Ideas you hadn't considered.
It's like an instant expert brainstorming session.
Right. Or sales and marketing. Struggling with cold emails.
Common pain point.
Prompt. Act as a seasoned sales coach. Write a persuasive cold email for our CRM software targeting small businesses under 50 staff. Focus on the top 3 benefits and include a clear call to action.
Beat staring at a blank screen. Gets you a solid first draft tailored to the audience.
Definitely. Saves time, improves effectiveness. Same for customer service. Prompt. Act as an empathetic customer service agent. A customer is complaining about a delayed shipment. Write a polite, helpful reply. Include a sincere apology, the new estimated delivery date, and offer a 15% discount code for their next order.
Faster, consistent, helpful responses leads to happier customers even when things go wrong.
Exactly. And even education.
Teachers using AI.
Sure. Act as a history teacher. Create a 10-question multiple-choice quiz on World War II with an answer key and brief explanations. Frees up the teacher's time for actual teaching.
That's a great time saver. And students.
Absolutely. A student facing a dense 10-page research paper could prompt. Summarize this paper on quantum physics into 3 key bullet points. Explain the main idea simply, like for a high school student.
Makes complex stuff accessible, like an AI study buddy.
You got it. The applications are just everywhere once you start thinking with prompts.
Okay, so for listeners thinking, this sounds great, but where do I start? What's the first step?
Honestly, just dive in. Experiment.
Get your hands dirty.
Yeah. Open up tools like ChatGPT or Bard. Start trying different prompts. Play around with the prompt-T framework we discussed. See what happens when you change the persona or add a modifier.
So it's learning by doing, developing that intuition for how the AI thinks, or at least responds.
Exactly. Think about your own tasks. What do you do regularly? Writing emails, brainstorming, learning something new, planning things.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, how could AI help here? Then try crafting a specific prompt for it. See what it generates.
Find those areas where it can be a genuinely useful assistant in your day-to-day.
Right. Now, it's important to also touch on some considerations, maybe potential downsides.
Good point. It's not magic, right?
No, definitely not.
Huh.
Accuracy and reliability are key things to keep in mind. AI-generated content isn't always perfect. Sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it hallucinates facts.
So you can't just blindly trust everything it spits out.
Absolutely not. Human judgment, your own expertise, fact-checking, they are still essential. You need to review and verify the output, especially for important tasks.
Treat it as a draft or an input, not the final word.
It's a good way to think about it.
Oh.
And then there's the impact on jobs question.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. The fear of displacement.
It's a valid concern, and we shouldn't dismiss it. Some tasks will be automated. But history shows technology also creates new roles, new opportunities.
And prompt engineering itself is a new skill in demand.
Precisely. Learning to work with AI to guide it effectively, that's becoming incredibly valuable. It's about evolution, adapting our skills, using AI as a tool to augment our own capabilities, not just replace them.
Framing it as evolution and growth rather than just loss.
I think that's the more productive way to look at it.
So this deep dive into mastering prompts really feels like it ties together everything we've been exploring in this series about AI's potential.
It does. We've looked at the opportunities, the strategies, the power of generative AI.
And prompt engineering is like the key, isn't it? The interface that makes all that power accessible and useful for, well, for anyone.
It really is the linchpin. And like we said, it's not about being a coder. It's about being a clear, strategic communicator in this new human AI context.
Yeah, communication is key.
And for you, our listener, seeking knowledge efficiently, thoroughly mastering prompts is your direct line to harnessing AI, turning that fire hose of information into actionable insights, into creative output that works for you.
So as we wrap up this series and thinking about today's focus on communicating precisely with AI, maybe the question for everyone listening is, what's one specific task or challenge right now in your work or life that you could tackle differently using these prompt engineering ideas?
Yeah, what's one prompt you could try crafting today? Just one, to start unlocking that potential for yourself.
A great question to ponder.
Well, thank you for joining us throughout this journey into the deep. We genuinely hope this series has given you valuable insights and maybe sparked some curiosity to keep exploring this incredible, fast-moving world of AI.
Keep experimenting, keep learning, keep asking those questions.
Absolutely. Keep pushing the boundaries in this really exciting new era.